Thanks for listening to the NVTV Podcast, produced by Neuqua Media.
Welcome to this episode of the NVTV Podcast. I'm Tony Reschella. On today's show, we'll be discussing chess club and what it takes to become a member of the chess team. Joining me today is chess team members Landon, Steven, and Rishi. All right, I want to open with just a few basic questions about chess club and how long you've been on. So, when did you guys all join chess club and become a member of the chess team?
So for me, I played chess professionally in 8th grade as well, outside of school. And I had a USCF rating of 1700. So I kind of emailed Mr. Fox and Gambino over the summer freshman year to just to reach out regarding chess club. And then I found out that there was a varsity team actually. So I practiced with them over the summer, and I was kind of already part of the team just because I played some chess outside of school as well.
As for me, my friends first introduced chess to me at the end of 8th grade, and I was a little interested chess, and that turned into a full-on passion because I realized how crazy complicated the game can get, and I wanted to take it on as a club. So I found out more details from my counselor and what the announcements said, and I learned there's so much more to chess club, and there's so many schools that have these amazing programs, and since freshman year I've been doing it.
And then for me this summer, I just found out about chess, and then I've been practicing chess a lot over the summer. Talking with Rishi and stuff, and then from there I've been able to grow my skills in the club during the school year.
And speaking of chess, can one of you briefly explain how does the ranking system work? What's that number that all you players have and that gets changed?
So we have a varsity team, which is the top 8 players in the chess club, and we figured that out by just based on our weekly tournament results, which is open to everyone, as well as just practice games that we play during our practice. So each player is ranked 1 to 8 in the team. So board 1 being the highest board would be our best player, and board 8 being our worst player on the varsity team, but still definitely a very good chess player. And we would face other schools, so it would be the board 1 of our school plays the board 1 of the other school, and so on. And each board, the higher up the board is, the more value it has. So if we have a win on board 1, that would be 12 points. A win on board 2 would be 11 points, and it just goes down by 1. And a draw on a board would obviously just be half points for each team. But basically, the varsity team is what goes to state and sectionals.
And speaking of those competitions, what's it like at a chess competition?
You would think it'd be extremely stressful for people that are doing it the first time, but it's in fact really fun. You get to hang out with your friends, and you get to watch other people's games. I mean, the game of chess is so much fun because it's so unpredictable, and you get to learn from other people, and in general, it's just a bunch of people coming together to celebrate this amazing game.
Yeah, and I just did my first competition just last weekend, and it was you don't feel much stress during after the games. I mean, there's stress during the games, but other than that, you're hanging out with your friends between games and studying.
And how'd you do at that competition?
I went 3-2.
Nice. How often does the chess team practice? Do you guys meet once a week, once a month? How does that work?
So we meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we do have conference games against the other schools in the conference, which is the Neuqua Valley conference. It's on Tuesdays. So some of the Tuesdays we don't always have practice, but every Thursday we definitely do have practice.
Sorry.
Okay, and we have tournaments every weekend as well on Saturdays. It's not every weekend, but whenever Mr. Fox and Mr. Gambino is available, which is most weekends.
And how does that differ from the chess club? Do they also meet with you guys and just don't compete, or do they meet at separate times?
So members of the chess club are able to participate and meet with us throughout the year, except for around January, because that's when we start to shorten down the state roster and figure out who's going to be our top 8 players that we're taking to state. But for the tournaments, they are open to everyone, and it's just a fun way to kind of hang out and make sure everyone is improving.
And speaking of improving, how do you guys get better at chess? Can you guys walk me through your practices?
So for me, I think what helped most was, I get tutoring from Rishi here since he's the best player on our team. And what I did over the summer, what we commonly use is websites like LeeChess and chess.com, which is where most people play chess online. And from that, I've been able to increase my rating so much, and that's definitely helped a lot. Like over the summer, I got much, much better.
I mainly watched like YouTube videos over the summer, and then that's kind of where I learned. But now I'm learning more from like Rishi and like members on the chess team. And then obviously like the further step from YouTube videos, there's like websites like ChessBase, which like professionally produce videos that will educate you.
So for practices, we do help improve as well because we try to analyze our games after the tournaments, and we try to give like mini lessons that we're going to start doing more often for openings and end games to the other members. And obviously we just play games, which I feel like is the best way to improve because you're going through more situations and positions, and it just helps improve your calculation in general.
So they kept saying that, Rishi, you were the best player on the team. How do you like determine who the best player is?
It's just based on, so there are outside tournaments that I go to, and as well as other players, which helps increase your skills. And I think I am the highest rated player, but I personally don't think I am the best. I think Rishank is better than me at low time control, definitely. But the skill is just determined based on like the results that we have at practices and tournaments, and as well as like outside rating that we do take into consideration a little bit.
And when you guys are in games and like in the chess, how do you like clock manage? How do you like work on skills like that?
Yeah, time management is definitely a big part of the chess tournaments because most tournaments are, I think, you have 45 minutes for each player with a 5-second delay. And obviously, the lower you get on time, the more time pressure there is, and it's harder to handle that. But I personally feel like it's just experience that kind of helps with that. The more games you're playing with time, the better you kind of get at managing it. And it's definitely hard because you kind of need to know what to think for in such short periods of time. But I think experience is a big part of time management.
So what's it like? This goes out to any of you. What's it like in one of those like high pressure situations? You only have like 15 seconds left, but there's still so much chess to be played in that amount of time.
I think how to deal with those types of situations is just think of don't overthink stuff because, don't worry about many people that may be watching. Just do what you think is the best move and don't doubt yourself. I think that's, and like Rishi said over here, experience is also very helpful, but it goes out in general to other people. Just don't overthink stuff and don't get nervous.
Yeah, definitely under like low time pressure. Sometimes if you like overthink, you have like chess blindness, which is where you like forget like basic things of chess and you'll like blunder a piece, which happened to me in the last tournament when I was under time pressure. So yeah, I think because usually you want to think of like a better move even when you find a good move, but there you want to just play like the best move that comes to mind.
So what is a blunder?
A blunder is just a bad move in general that, like Landon said, hanging a piece, or you might get in checkmate, for example. It's just a bad move that ultimately would, in a lot of situations, would win the game for the other opponent.
So when you're in games like that, are you like thinking ahead, like, oh, if they make this move, I'll do this? How do you manage your moves?
So it's obviously harder when you're lower on time to kind of like calculate more moves ahead. But something that I do is to manage my time, I kind of just have this idea of looking for like hanging pieces and just ways to pressure my opponent. And I just kind of blitz out my moves just because I feel like I need to save time for like later on in the game. So usually what I do in general for time management is from the start of the game for the opening, I usually play that out a little faster just so I have more time at the end of the game to kind of calculate when I do get down to the time pressure.
I think like not depending on time, like it depends a lot on your skill, because I know when I was first starting out, I would think like 1 or 2 moves ahead, but now I'm thinking more of like 3 or 4 moves ahead.
And with that, like when you're in games like that, when you see like your opponent blunder, what goes through your head?
For me personally, I get a little excited because it means, at least I won't have to start the day with a loss, especially if it's like my first game. But yeah, I try to like calm myself and think, okay, this is good for me. I'm in a winning position, because it's very easy to know, especially with like experience and playing long, if someone makes a bad move, like if they blunder a piece especially, like that's very easy to see. But yeah.
Outside of like chess games, winning chess games, what skills has chess team, chess club brought you guys?
So I mean, all of us are pretty close. Like I feel like we have a Discord server that we all kind of talk on, and we just kind of bond together. And we're also gonna have some team building activities this year where we go out to play bowling and other things, maybe Daves and Busters. So I feel like it's just a nice way to kind of like bond together and just have nice like friendship, just bond with chess. That's definitely been very nice for me since I'm very close with a lot of the other members on the chess team.
And I think that goes out to other people who want to join chess club too. You don't have to just play a bunch of chess games. If you show up, you can just talk with friends. You can watch other people play. It's just a time for people in general to come together. So I think people should definitely come out.
It's definitely taught me like compassion for others, even like in a tournament setting. Because like this week or last weekend, someone like blundered a piece, and you can like see like they're upset in the move that they played. So you kind of feel that for them at the same time, but like you're also winning, so you feel good. So it's two different emotions that conflict.
Yeah, going off of Landon, I definitely think it's definitely made my sportsmanship a lot better. Just because in chess, it's kind of a game where you can blunder the whole game away in just a single move, and obviously that goes through a lot of emotions. So I feel like it is important to stay respectful and make sure that your opponent isn't like too upset either. Just try to comfort them. It's definitely improved my sportsmanship.
And speaking of tournaments, do you guys have any events coming up that you'd want to shout out real quick?
So we have a tournament on November 2nd, which is the Aries tournament. Other top schools like Wabanzi and Lemont will be going there. And then we have a tournament. We also are going to be having a conference game, I think the Tuesday after next Tuesday because it's election day. And in conference right now, we've been doing pretty good. We did upset Wabanzi, and they have 2 national masters. So we're currently first place, and we're going to hope to keep that going.
So I think we definitely have a chance to stay, like Rishi's saying. So I think this is the year for anyone who has chess experience or, would think that they're a good player. I think they should come out because I think this is definitely going to be a good year for Neuqua.
Nice. That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you to Landon, Steven, and Rishi for joining us today on the NVTV Podcast. The NVTV Podcast is produced by media students of Neuqua Valley High School. Enjoy the rest of your day.